Protesters have gathered for the 38th straight week to voice their concerns over the Kourend Council. They believe the council is corrupt for rejecting the rightful heir to the throne, Great Kourend, on grounds of insanity.
Live from the Lizardmen Canyon, where the Shazian troops are doing their best to push the Lizardmen back outside the walls.
Out here in the Kebos lowlands, away from civilization and past the Lizardmen, there are plenty of secrets to uncover. Some speak of enormous beasts hidden away in caverns running all through Zeah.
It was a peaceful and sunny day on the Piscarilius docks when Doglover Prime saw the local portmaster become possessed by Zeah right before his very eyes.
Well, I was just finishing up a quest for him, and then his eyes turned red, and he told me he was Zeah. Who is Zeah?
Great Kourend's history is paved in fire. In the time of the God Wars, refugees traveled in all directions to escape the fighting. One such group stumbled upon the continent of Zeah. Here, they settled into their new home. In the beginning, there were only 3 factions. The Arceus House is comprised of wizards fascinated by the Dark Altar, a powerful and mysterious force capable of manipulating both life and death. The Piscarilius House are fishermen and later would lead nautical trade with their large navy of ships. The Lovacane House is a clan of dwarves interested in mining and smithing weaponry and crafts, particularly from the unique and rare Lovakite metal. 2 more houses would be added later. The Hosidius House manages agriculture, as well as food production. And finally, the Shazian House acts as a military force to protect the region. It would take several hundreds of years after settling in Zeah before the 5 houses were united by King Rada I into what is now known as Great Kourend. Over the next few hundred years, the monarchy would be overthrown, the government reformed multiple times, famine would ravage the lands, the Arceus House would find the secrets to immortality, and a mythical creature known as the Winter Todd would devastate the land to the north, bringing an eternal winter with it. This creature still exists to this day, contained, but not defeated. In the 13th century, the monarchy was re-established when Lord Shazian III seized power with his military. Some generations later, the accursed King Shazian VII rose to power. Shazian was obsessed with the power of the Dark Altar. He spent large stretches of time in the Tower of Magic, a mysterious and seclusive building created for magical experiments that few have ever stepped foot in. He even went so far as to experiment on his loyal citizens. Shazian had a temple built that was meant to increase and expand the power of the Dark Altar. Here he experimented on the lizards found locally in the Kebos lowlands in hopes of creating his own personal and loyal army. High-ranking warriors in Kourend's army believed Shazian had gone too far and staged a coup to remove him from power. They successfully assassinated Shazian, but days later he resurrected as the infamous Zeah, immortalized by the same power the Arceus House holds. Zeah murdered the head of each house and assumed total control over Great Kourend, with his Lizardmen army keeping order. The next century of Great Kourend's history and Zeah's rule is known as the Age of Strife. The Lizardmen regularly abducted citizens for experiments during this time. Many citizens fled Kourend entirely and settled on the south side of Zeah under the newly formed Kingdom of Varlamore. Others formed resistance groups and rebelled, though none were successful. It was not until the lone farmer Byrne rose up and killed a lizardman in retaliation for murdering a child that the people's spark ignited. They had had enough, and with the people united, the lizardmen stood no chance of retaliation and were forced underground and back into the Kebos lowlands. With no allies, Zeah fled into exile, gone, but still lurking in the shadows. It has been almost a millennium since Zeah's reign, but the scars from that time still remain. The lizardmen threat is worse than ever. Supporters of Zeah still lie in the shadows, some perhaps even infiltrating the Kourend Council. Worst of all, Zeah is still out there somewhere, having hundreds of years to plot and plan his return. And what of Zeah's other secrets? Are the citizens of the Arceus House truly immortal? And how did they achieve such a feat? What perverse experiments happen in the Tower of Magic, and are they still going on today? What kind of creatures and other secrets lay in hiding in the Kebos lowlands and the surrounding areas? Perhaps only time will tell.